She saved everything they built, and they punished her for it. You reach for the field clock sitting on the edge of your console. It is a heavy brushed steel analog piece, issued the day you signed the non-disclosure agreements that effectively ended your career in the private sector. You unscrewed the crown, pulled it to the second position, and waited. On your monitor, the network pulse hits the top of the minute. You press the crown in. The mechanical tick aligns perfectly with the digital sweep. This is the ritual of the shift, syncing the human time to the machine time. Without it, the drift becomes terminal. You are not a soldier. You are a network defense specialist, a role you backed into after a doctoral research contract on anomaly detection for the Ministry of Transport was quietly absorbed by a subdepartment of a subdepartment. You hadn't read the final addendum of the contract closely enough, the one that mentioned permanent assignment to national infrastructure integrity. By the time you realized you weren't just writing code for traffic lights, you were already inside a SCIF 30 feet underground with a clearance level that made your civilian passport a relic. The lag happens again? This time, it's followed by a lateral shift in the server rack's cooling demand. Someone is moving through the architecture. It isn't a blunt force attack. It's a ghost walk. The intruder is using a specific type of recursive spoofing to mask their presence, mimicking the background noise of the system's own maintenance protocols. You feel the familiar tightening in your chest, the physiological response your instructors called the red line. Your palms are wet, your mouth is dry, your vision narrowing until only the lines of hexadecimal code remain. You reach under your desk, your fingers brushing the rough fabric cover of your graduate cybersecurity textbook. It's a massive, outdated volume you keep as a footrest, a silent reminder of a time when you thought malware was something you solved with a patch and a polite email to the vendor. You pull the book up, resting it on your lap. You flip to the index, though you know the page by heart. Chapter 14, Predictive Modeling for Stealth Intrusions. On the screen, the intruder begins a sequence of operational pauses, short 3-second bursts of inactivity designed to let the system's automated defensive scripts reset. It is a sophisticated patient technique. Sentinel-7 to oversight, you say into your headset. Your voice is flat, stripped of the tremor that is currently vibrating through your diaphragm. I have a level 4 anomaly on node beta 9, requesting clarification on scheduled red team exercises. The response is immediate and cold. Oversight to Sentinel-7, no exercises authorized for this window. Maintain observation. Do not engage. Breakout window is estimated at 28 minutes. You look at the clock. The second hand sweeps past the 12. 28 minutes until the intruder reaches the core database. 28 minutes until the institution loses its most guarded secrets. And you are ordered to watch it happen. The intrusion isn't just fast, it's familiar. You watch the way the code is being injected into the memory buffer. Like a liquid that will enter the bloodstream, it's using a very specific vulnerability in the way the node handles encrypted handshakes, a flaw that was only theoretical 3 years ago. You remember the night you sat in a library at 2 a.m., fueled by lukewarm coffee, drafting a paper on this exact method. The pattern on the screen is a digital fingerprint. The way the intruder stutters the packet delivery to bypass the firewall's timing check is a technique you described in your thesis. It was your heuristic anomaly breakthrough. The institutional mirror is absolute. You are watching your own intellectual legacy being used to dismantle the very walls you were hired to guard. The irony isn't lost on you. It's a weight. The agency didn't just recruit you for your skills, they recruited you to defend against the very ideas you had put into the world. Oversight, I am seeing a proprietary intrusion set, you say, your voice tighter now. The methodology is identical to the Alpha 6 protocol. If we don't initiate a network sanitization, we lose the node in 20 minutes. Negative Sentinel-7? The voice in your ear responds. Network sanitization will alert the actor. We are attempting to trace the origin. Stay on the line. Observe and log. You know what trace the origin means? It means the people above you are more interested in finding out who bought your old research than they are in protecting the data on the server. They are willing to let the node be compromised if it gives them a lead on a hostile state actor. You are being told to stand down while your own work is used to cut your throat. You look at the textbook on your lap. On page 842, there is a diagram you drew of a logic trap, a way to isolate an intruder by making them think they've found a back door, when in reality, they've just entered a mirrored environment. The intruder is now moving toward the primary encryption keys. The breakout time is down to 14 minutes. Your body is a map of stress. Your heart rate is 112 beats per minute. Your breathing is shallow, intentional. You can feel the cold air of the SCIF's HVAC system hitting the back of your neck, smelling faintly of ozone and old dust. The silence in the room is heavy, broken only by the hum of the servers and the rhythmic, mechanical tick of the field clock. You are a resource, a tool. And tools don't make decisions. But the math on the screen is telling you a truth the voice in your headset is ignoring. The trace won't work. The intruder is using a revolving proxy chain that will reset before oversight can lock onto a location. They are going to lose the node, and they are going to lose the lead. The window is closing. 11 minutes. You stare at the ticking second hand. If you follow the order, you are safe. Your career continues, your clearance remains, and the failure belongs to the chain of command. If you act, you violate the primary directive of Sentinel-7. Never interact with a live threat without Level 1 authorization. You reach out and take the field clock from the console. You turn it over in your hand, feeling the weight of the steel. Then, with a deliberate, slow movement, you place the clock face down on the desk. You are no longer counting the seconds for the institution. You are counting them for yourself. Oversight. I am experiencing a hardware malfunction on the primary terminal. You lie? Your voice is steady, a product of 3 years of training in stress-modulated communication, attempting to re-establish connection. You don't wait for a reply. You cut the audio feed. In the sudden silence, the sound of your own heartbeat seems to fill the room. You begin to type. This isn't the frantic clicking of a movie hacker. It's a series of precise, rhythmic keystrokes. You are building the logic trap you designed in your thesis. You isn't trying to stop the intruder. You are trying to redirect them. The intruder hits the first trigger. On your screen, a progress bar appears. The intruder thinks they are downloading the personnel files for the agency's deep cover assets. In reality, they are being fed a stream of procedurally generated nonsense. Junk data that looks like encrypted text, but has no value. But there's a cost. To keep the trap active, you have to divert power from the node's own internal security logs. You are erasing the evidence of the intrusion and the evidence of your own intervention. You are cleaning the scene as you work. The adrenaline spike hits you now. Your hands remain steady on the keys, but your legs are shaking under the desk. This is the physiological lag, the body's protest against the mind's decision to break the rules. But your mind must be unbreakable. You feel a drop of sweat roll down your temple, but you don't wipe it away. 7 minutes. The intruder is deep in the trap. They are committed, but the server's temperature is rising. The redirected power is causing a thermal spike in the rack. If you don't finish the redirect soon, the hardware will trigger an automatic operational pause to cool down, which will alert the intruder that the environment is simulated. You need to execute the final handshake, the one that will lock the intruder into the junk loop permanently. Sentinel-7, respond? A new voice crackles in your earpiece. It's not the analyst from before. This is a supervisor. We are seeing a thermal alert on Beta 9. Why is your terminal dark? Re-establish audio immediately. You ignore it. You are 4 lines of code away from finishing the loop. The sound of the door at the end of the hall, a heavy, pressurized seal, hissing open. The security team is moving. You can't see them, but you know the protocol. They will be at your station in 90 seconds. You hit the enter key. The screen goes black for a heartbeat, then returns to the standard diagnostic view. The intruder is gone. Or rather, they are trapped in a loop of their own making, thinking they've won, while their connection is slowly bled out into a null rote. The node is safe, but the logs are empty. The silence in the room is no longer broken only by your loud mind. There are 3 of them, 2 security personnel in muted gray tacticals, and the supervisor, a man named Miller, whose face is as weathered as a canyon wall. They don't touch you. They don't have to. The environment itself is a cage. Step away from the console, Miller says. He doesn't sound angry. He sounds tired. You stand. The textbook falls from your lap, hitting the carpeted floor with a dull thud. You leave it there. I secured the node, you say. You disobeyed a direct order, Miller replies. He walks to the desk and sees the field clock lying face down. He picks it up, turns it over, and looks at the time. You took yourself off the grid for 6 minutes and 42 seconds. In this building, that's a lifetime. The trace wasn't going to work, you say, your voice regaining its dry academic cadence. They were using my own methodology. I knew the exit point. If I hadn't moved, they would have had the keys in 3 minutes. Miller looks at the monitor. He sees the standard diagnostic screen. There's no record of a kinetic resolution here. There's no record of anything. You wiped the logs. I had to keep the redirect silent. So, as far as the institution is concerned, nothing happened, except for the fact that a level 4 specialist went dark and a $1 million server rack almost melted itself. Miller sets the clock down on the console, but he doesn't hand it back to you. You've made yourself a liability, not because you failed, but because you were right in a way we can't document. He gestures to the security team. They move in, 1 on each side. There is no struggle. There is only the administrative reality of a security devaluation. As they lead you out, you look back at your station. The green glow of the terminal reflects off the glass of the field clock. The second hand is still moving, indifferent to the fact that your career ended the moment you flipped it over. You feel the adrenaline crash now, a cold, hollow sensation in the pit of your stomach. Your vision is clear, but your heart rate hasn't slowed. You're already cataloging the mistakes you made, not in the code, but in the politics. You thought the mission was to save the data. You forgot that the mission is always to serve the machine. The institution doesn't want heroes. It doesn't even want particularly brilliant analysts. It wants predictable ones. The room is small, windowless, and illuminated by a single high-intensity fluorescent strip that hums at a frequency just high enough to be irritating. You sit at a metal table. Your field clock is the only thing on the table with you. It has been 3 hours since you were removed from the SCIF. You haven't been allowed to sleep, or eat, or use the restroom without an escort. Miller enters, carrying a thin manila folder. He sits across from you. The good news, he says, opening the folder, is that the node is indeed clean. Our secondary sensors confirmed the intruder hit a dead end and disconnected. Your logic trap worked. You don't smile. You know there is no good news in a debrief like this. The bad news, Miller continues, is that because there are no logs, we have to classify this as a technical variance. We cannot credit you with a successful defense because we cannot prove there was an attack. And we cannot overlook the fact that you bypassed Oversight's encryption to do it. So, what happens now? you ask. You are being reassigned, Miller says. Effective immediately. You're no longer with Sentinel-7. You're being moved to a data entry cell in a regional office, no network access, no high-level clearance. You'll be processing travel vouchers for field agents. He pushes the field clock toward you. You keep the watch, he says. It's institutional property, but it's been calibrated to your biometric signature. It wouldn't be useful to anyone else. You look at the clock. The brushed steel is scratched now, a small mark near the 12 where it hit the desk. It is an inversion of everything it stood for on your first day. It's no longer a tool of precision. It's a tether to a world you are no longer allowed to inhabit. It will keep ticking, logging every hour you spend filing paperwork, a constant reminder of the 29-minute window where you were more than a resource. You pick up the watch and strap it to your wrist. The metal is cold against your hot, nervous skin. Your textbook was shredded, Miller adds as he stands up. Contraband in a secure facility. You should have known better. He walks out, the heavy door clicking shut behind him, with the sound of a final, irreversible handshake. You sit in the hum of the fluorescent light. You raise your wrist and listen. The tick of the watch is the only thing left of your career. A mechanical heartbeat in a room where the air is perfectly still, and the only thing to do is wait for the next shift to begin. The system reboots, the frequency reactivates, and the form for your reassignment is filed in a database you will never see again.